It may have happened to you more than once. You opened your front door in the morning, and there it was, a crow sitting on the fence post, or the telephone wire, or the edge of the roof, perfectly still, its black eyes fixed in your direction, its head tilted just enough to make the moment feel strangely personal, not like a bird simply looking at the world, not like an animal resting before it flies away, but like something studying you, and then, just as you noticed it, you had the uneasy feeling that it noticed you noticing it, and it did not leave. It did not panic. It did not flap away into the trees. It just watched. Why? Why would a crow choose the front of your house? Why would it return to the same fence, the same wire, the same roofline, morning after morning? Why does it sometimes stay even after you open the door? Why does it tilt its head as if it is trying to remember something? Is it only looking for food? Is it only resting? Or is something far more intelligent happening right outside your home? If crows have been appearing near your front door with any regularity, if the same bird or the same small group seems to return to the same positions again and again, there is something you need to understand. The crow watching your door may not be there by accident. It may not be lost. It may not simply be waiting for the next gust of wind. It may be doing something that has fascinated scientists for years. It may be remembering you, and once you understand that, you may never look at a crow on your fence the same way again. Before we talk about why crows watch your door, we need to talk about what makes these birds different. A crow is not an ordinary backyard bird. It is not just a dark shape making noise in the trees. It is not just a scavenger looking for scraps. Crows belong to the corvid family, one of the most intelligent groups of birds ever studied. Ravens, jays, magpies, and crows all belong to this remarkable family, and what they can do has forced scientists to rethink what intelligence really means. For a long time, people believed that advanced intelligence belonged mostly to animals that looked more like us. Apes, dolphins, elephants, large mammals with large brains. But crows changed that assumption. Inside that small black head is a mind capable of solving problems, remembering places, recognizing danger, using tools, learning from others, and making decisions based on experience. And the ability that matters most in this story is one of the most unsettling. Crows can recognize human faces, not vaguely, not for a few minutes, not only when food is involved. They can remember a human face for years. They can remember who threatened them. They can remember who ignored them. They can remember who fed them. They can remember who walked past without causing harm. And even more remarkably, that knowledge may not stay inside one bird. Crows can share information with other crows. If one crow learns that a certain person is dangerous, other crows in the area may begin reacting to that person too, even if they never experienced the original event themselves. That is not simple instinct. That is social memory. That is knowledge moving through a wild community. That is a neighborhood map built not with street names, but with faces, habits, threats, and trust. So when a crow sits near your front door and looks at you, it may be doing more than watching. It may be updating a file on your face, your schedule, your movements, your habits, whether you leave food outside, whether you have a dog, whether you move calmly or aggressively, whether you are safe, whether you are worth avoiding, whether your home is a place to remember. You may not remember the first time you saw that crow, but that crow may remember the first time it saw you. And if it keeps returning to the same place near your door, that place may mean something. To you, it may be only a fence post. To the crow, it may be an observation point. From there, it can see the door. It can see the driveway. It can see the trash bins. It can see the yard. It can see the trees, the pets, the movement of people, and the little sources of food that humans barely notice. What looks like stillness may actually be attention. What looks like staring may actually be learning. What looks like a coincidence may be part of a pattern. Now, let us talk about the simplest reason crows appear near homes. Food. Crows are omnivores. They eat insects, fruit, seeds, small animals, eggs, scraps, roadkill, and many of the things human neighborhoods accidentally provide. But crows are not careless opportunists in the way many people imagine. They are strategic. They remember where food appears. They remember how often it appears. They remember whether the area is safe. They remember who is nearby when it happens. If fruit falls from a tree near your front walk, a crow may remember. If your trash bin has ever been left open, a crow may remember. If pet food has been left outside, a crow may remember. If insects gather around your porch light every evening, a crow may remember. If you step out at the same time every morning, a crow may remember that too. To you, these are ordinary details. To a crow, they are data. Where food appears, when people appear, where danger comes from, when dogs are outside, which windows open, which doors lead to movement, which humans ignore crows, which humans chase them. A crow that watches your door may not be waiting to steal something. It may be learning the rhythm of your home. It may be studying the schedule of your household. It may be watching the small repeated patterns that make your property predictable. And predictability is valuable to a wild animal. But food is only part of the story. Crows do not only watch humans for what they can get. They watch humans to understand what humans are. That may sound strange, but imagine living as a crow in a world built by people. Cars move through your territory. Dogs roam yards. Cats hide under shrubs. Trash bins appear and disappear. Children run. Doors open. People shout. People feed. People throw stones. People ignore. People become threats or opportunities depending on what they do. In that world, knowing which human is which is not a curiosity. It is survival. A calm person is different from a person who waves a broom. A person who drops food and walks away is different from a person who runs toward the birds. A person who speaks softly from a porch is different from a person who throws something at the fence. Crows notice those differences. They remember them, and they adjust. This is why a crow sometimes seems to watch you in a way that feels different from other birds. A pigeon may scatter. A sparrow may disappear into a hedge. But a crow often pauses. It looks, it weighs the situation. It seems to ask a question before it acts. Who are you today? Are you calm? Are you dangerous? Are you carrying food? Are you about to leave? Are you someone worth trusting? That is the hidden truth behind the crow at your door. It may not be reacting only to the present moment. It may be comparing you to everything it has already learned. Now, if one single crow keeps returning to the same position near your door, that is worth noticing. A lone crow appearing repeatedly may have had a direct interaction with you or someone in your household. It may have seen you put out food. It may have watched you empty a trash bin. It may have been startled by your dog. It may have seen you scare away another bird. It may have learned that your yard contains something useful, or it may simply have learned that your home is predictable, and predictability draws attention. A crow may know when you leave for work. It may know when the house becomes quiet. It may know when the pets go inside. It may know when food scraps appear. It may know when the porch light draws insects. It may know far more about your morning routine than you realize. And the strange part is that you may be part of its routine too. You open the door. The crow watches. You step outside. The crow waits. You leave. The crow moves closer. You return. The crow notices. Day after day, this becomes a pattern. And in the mind of a crow, patterns become knowledge. But a group of crows near your home means something different. If several crows gather near your front yard and begin calling loudly, flying low, or staring in the same direction, they may not be making random noise. Crows are famous for mobbing threats. They gather around hawks. They gather around owls. They gather around cats. They may even gather around specific humans they have identified as dangerous. Their calls can sound harsh and irritating to us. But to other crows, those calls carry information. There is danger here. Look there. Stay alert. Do not come too close. If you hear crows making a sudden commotion near your door, pause for a moment. Look up into the trees. Look along the roofline. Look under the shrubs. There may be an owl hidden close by. A hawk may be perched above the yard. A cat may be stalking near the bushes. Something may be happening that you have not yet noticed. In that moment, the crows are not just noise. They are a living alarm system, a warning network with wings, a group of watchers that has been reading the neighborhood long before you open the door. And then there is one of the most surprising behaviors of all. Sometimes crows leave objects. A small stone, a piece of glass, a shiny bit of metal, a bottle cap, a strange little item placed near a porch, a fence, a feeding spot, or a doorway. Not every object near your home is a gift from a crow, and not every crow will ever do this. But enough stories and observations exist that people who live near crows have learned to pay attention. Crows have been known to leave objects near people who feed them consistently. Scientists and birdwatchers often describe this behavior as a kind of exchange, not exactly a gift in the human sense, not a thank you note, not a decoration, but something returned, something selected, something placed in a shared space between two very different minds. And that is what makes the relationship so strange. You may think you are only living your ordinary life, opening your door, walking to your car, taking out the trash, watering plants, sitting on the porch, but above you, on a wire or a roof edge, a crow may be recording those ordinary things, not because it thinks like a human, but because it is trying to understand what you mean in its world. Are you danger? Are you safety? Are you food? Are you noise? Are you predictable? Are you worth remembering? If you want to build a relationship with the crows near your home, the first rule is simple. Respect them as wild animals. Do not try to grab them. Do not try to hand feed too quickly. Do not chase them for a closer photo. Do not turn them into pets. A crow that trusts you should still remain a crow. Wild, cautious, free to come and go. If you choose to offer food, keep it small and consistent. Unsalted peanuts in the shell are often used by people who feed crows. Place a small amount in the same location at the same time. Then step away. No sudden movements. No staring. No rushing. No trying to force the moment. The crow will decide when it feels safe. That may take days. It may take weeks. It may take longer. Trust in the language of crows is built through repetition. One safe morning, then another, then another. Over time, the crow may begin to arrive before the food appears. Not because it has magic, because it has learned you. It has learned the hour. It has learned the gesture. It has learned that you do not threaten it. And if one day you find a small object near that place, do not ignore it too quickly. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it was dropped by accident. But maybe, in a way that belongs to the mind of a crow, it means something. Now return to the original moment. The front door, the morning light, the crow on the fence, its head tilted, its eyes fixed on you. Before, that might have felt unsettling. Maybe you thought of bad omens. Maybe you thought of old stories. Maybe you wondered why it kept appearing. But now the image changes. It is not just a black bird at your door. It may be a memory looking back at you, a wild intelligence holding your face in its mind, a neighbor from the natural world that has been quietly studying the edge between your life and its own. You thought you had just noticed the crow, but perhaps the crow noticed you long ago. You thought the encounter began when you opened the door, but perhaps it began weeks earlier, when the crow first learned your schedule. You thought it was staring, but maybe it was recognizing, and maybe that is the lesson hidden inside this entire story. The natural world is not passive. It is not only scenery. It is not only trees, birds, insects, and background noise. It is watching, learning, remembering, responding. The crow at your door is not there to haunt you. It is not there as a dark sign. It is not there because your house has been chosen by accident. It is there because crows are observant, intelligent, social animals that build knowledge from the world around them. And in that world, you are not invisible. You are a face, a habit, a pattern, a risk, a possibility, a part of the neighborhood map. Maybe the real question was never why that crow keeps watching your door. Maybe the real question is what it already knows about you that you have not yet learned about it. If you have ever had a crow watch you from a fence, a wire, a roof, or a tree near your front door, tell me about it in the comments. Did it come back more than once? Did it seem to recognize you? Did a group of crows ever gather near your home and make noise for a reason you could not understand? Have you ever found a small object near your door that you wondered about later? And after hearing this, do you see crows the same way you did before? I would love to hear your story. Crow stories are some of the strangest, smartest, and most unforgettable things people share about the wild lives unfolding around their homes. And if you know someone who still thinks crows are only loud, unlucky, or frightening birds, share this with them. Because sometimes the creature watching from the roof is not a bad omen. Sometimes it is a wild mind trying to understand you in the only way it knows how. And if you want to understand another creature quietly building a relationship with humans, one that does not watch from the roof or the wire, but from the soil beneath your feet, the next story may change the way you look at your garden forever.